Respectable Venerable Dr. Phramaha Metteyya. Greetings to our viewers of Global Buddhist Congregation Dhamma Discourse program. Today we are in Nakorn Pathom province, and we are fortunate to have a chance to invite the Venerable to give us Dhamma Discourse. May I say a few words about the Venerable? Venerable Dr. Phramaha Metteyya is originally from Sri Lanka, but he's been living in Thailand for about 20 years. In Thai, we would call him Phramaha Metteyya because he passed the Thai National Pali exam, level 6. The Venerable received his bachelor degree in Pali and Buddhist studies from Lanka Rachavidyalaya University or MCU at Puttakosa campus in Nakorn Pathom, and received the master degree and PhD from MCU in Bangkok. He is currently a lecturer at the Faculty of Buddhism at MCU in Wang Noi, Ayutthaya province. The topic of his Dhamma Discourse will be on anger and anger management according to Theravada Buddhism. Without further ado, may I give the microphone to the Venerable, and thank you very much once again. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. First of all, I would like to thank Madam Samsuk for inviting me for this Dhamma talk, and also I would like to give my word of appreciation to the organizers of Global Buddhist Congregate for organizing all these Dhamma talks for the propagation of Buddhism. The topic of our Dhamma talk today is anger and anger management according to Theravada Buddhism. Today I will try to give some ideas or give a perception of anger and anger management as we can gather information from the Tipitaka itself. As we all know, Tipitaka is where the teaching of the Lord Buddha has been recorded and kept into 3 baskets, Vinaya Pitaka, which is the basket of discipline or the book of discipline of the monks and nuns, and the Sutta Pitaka, which is the basket of discourse or the Dhamma talks or the preaching of the Buddha, has been recorded or collected in this Suttanta Pitaka. And the Abhidhamma Pitaka, which is where the doctrinal or philosophical teaching of Buddhism has been recorded and collected, as the term Abhidhamma implies, which means higher doctrine. So, and especially in the Sutta Pitaka, we can find many suttas and many informations regarding the teaching of the Buddha, regarding the way how a person should practice according to the teaching of the Buddha. As per for today title or the today talk is about anger, so I will find some information from the Tipitaka, especially from the Sutta Pitaka, and present to you for your consideration. As we know, anger, we can say anger is a very integral or something we have to experience every day in our lives, whether it is the anger that originate in ourselves, or whether anger that we have to experience from people around us. And also when we read the news in the newspapers, or when we watch the news in the TVs, we can see there are so many incidents, especially calamities or adverse events that has happened due to the anger in human mind. Therefore, it is very important for us to learn how to manage our anger. I use the word manage here rather than eradication because it is very hard for an ordinary person to eradicate the anger, because anger, according to the Buddhism, is very integral and intrinsic nature of human mind. According to the Buddhism, a person will eradicate anger only when he has attained the realm or the stage of anagami, which is the non-returner level. Up until that point, even sotapanna or the stream enterer or even sakadagami, once returner, all those people have anger into certain level, and especially for noble people, the anger is present in all of our minds. Therefore, it is important for us to learn, or at least try to manage this anger in ourselves. Therefore, we can see to some suttas in the Sutta Pitaka that has information regarding this matter. For example, the Kodana Sutta in the Anguttara Nikaya is sutta which is with the Buddha preached the entire sutta about the anger, about the nature of anger. It is very important for us to understand the nature of anger first, then we will know the reason why we have to manage this anger, or why we have to control this anger in our minds. In the Kodana Sutta, the Buddha said, the anger that arises in human mind has these adverse effects. The anger that arises in a human mind is similar to the wish of an enemy that has towards another enemy. That means an enemy would expect or would wish his or her enemy to have adversities. An enemy would not wish for his or her enemy to have happiness or have good things to happen in their lives. In the same manner, if somebody has anger in their mind or somebody is overcome with anger, then that person will face adversities that would make that person's life into problematic state. Therefore, the Buddha said, an enemy would wish of an enemy to be ugly, the first thing, to be ugly, because an enemy would not tolerate or would not expect his or her enemy to be beautiful or to have a nice appearance. So the Buddha said, when a person is angry and he is overcome with anger, this enemy of wish would happen to that person himself just by the anger that he has created for himself. There is no need for an enemy to do these things to him, but that happens by your own anger that arises in your mind, which is when you are angry, even though you are dressed in very beautifully, or even though you have bathed very well, even though you have adorned yourself very beautifully, but regardless of these all decorations, you are still ugly. The Buddha said it's like this. You have a very bad appearance. It is evident for us because when we see a person who is angry, we can see how their faces changes. The appearance of their faces would change very dramatically, very visibly, that he has become angry. When we see a person who is angry, we can normally know that that person is angry by looking at their faces. For example, the change of their color of their face would change to a darker color or reddish color, and also the eyes would change. The way they look at the person will change, and eyes will be very scary to look at, and also the appearance, the whole appearance of that person who is overcome with anger and trembling and scolding in anger looks very unpleasant to look at, very scary to look at, very ugly in that manner. So this is the first thing that would happen to a person who is angry, that is similar to a wish of an enemy, that an enemy would wish towards his or her own enemy. And the second thing that Buddha said that would happen to a person who is angry is that he will sleep poorly. He will not sleep well. This is the second thing that would happen to a person who is angry, according to this Kodana Sutta, when he is overcome by anger. As we know, when someone is angry, he would not have that peace of mind to sleep well. He will not fall asleep very easily, because he will think of that matter that he is angry about, or he would think about the person he is angry about. So in this manner he would not fall asleep easily. Moreover, even though he has fallen asleep, but he will still have bad dreams, and he would still have nightmares. So he would not sleep well while he is sleeping. So this is the second factor that would happen to a person who is angry, or who is overcome by anger. And the third thing that would happen to a person who is angry or overcome by anger, according to the Buddha, is he would lose profits, or he would not get beneficial things. Because when someone has become angry, he would do things, he would think that he is doing correctly, because due to his anger he is doing things following his anger. But whatever he does when he has been overcome by anger, or when he is overcome by anger, in the normal state of mind, it is not correct. It is not the right thing to do, because when someone is angry, he would behave in such a angrily manner. Or when someone is angry, he would say something very impolite or inappropriate, or he would even go to kill people. So these kind of things that he would do out of anger, even though he is thinking that he is doing the right thing at that moment, because according to his mental state of at that time, he is thinking he is doing the right thing, but actually it is not the right thing he is doing. Therefore, whatever he does out of anger is unbeneficial. That will not bring benefit to that person, or even to the person around him. So this is the third factor, or the third thing that would happen to a person who is angry, or who has overcome by anger, would have to face. And the fourth thing that would happen to a person who is angry is that he will lose wealth, the Buddha said. The Buddha said the person who is angry or who is overcome by anger would lose his wealth. And the Buddha further explained how that would happen. That would happen by, due to the things that he has done out of anger, as a result of that bad things that he has caused, or for the payment, for, we can say, as a payment for repaying for the damage he has caused due to anger, he would have to spend a lot of money that he has accumulated throughout his life. The Buddha has stated in this manner, whether as a levy, as a payment that he has to pay to bail himself out of prison, or even that he would have to pay for a person that he has caused damage, whether if he has killed a person out of anger, he would have to pay the repayment for that action. If legally he is bound to pay some money to repay what he has done. So this is another thing that happened to an angry person, or who has overcome by anger. The next thing is that he would lose his reputation, that he would lose his fame, that he would lose his good name, because we know when a person is angry, he would not, whatever good name, good reputation he has accumulated, that he will lose. People will consider him as a very ill-tempered one. People will not respect him or her as they have done before. So this is another thing that would happen to a person who is overcome by anger. For example, we can refer to another sutta in the Sutta Pitaka, in the Majjhima Nikaya, the Kakachupama Sutta. The Buddha has stated a very interesting story, saying the adversity, or saying the bad effect of anger. In the Kakachupama Sutta, the Buddha has uttered, or Buddha has said, the story of a woman named Vedehika. This woman named Vedehika was very well known to be very peaceful, very kind, very gentle woman. She was very well known or renowned amongst friends and people in her city as being very gentle, very calm, very peaceful, very kind person. And she had a servant named Kali. This servant once thought whether it is truly or not that this my lady or my master, this Vedehika, is really kind or not. Is she really kind? Is she really calm? Is she really gentle? So she wanted to test her. One day she wake up very late, and this kind lady Vedehika came and asked her, why have you wake up so late? The servant said, no reason. Then she just showed a mild anger and said, no reason, and she just didn't show her anger yet. And the second day, the servant again wake up even later than the first day. Then she kind of scolded a little bit and said, kind of angrily, why have you slept too late? Why are you waking up so late? So servant said, no reason. So she again said in a very much rough voice than the previous day, no reason. And the third day also, the Kali, the slave, woke up even much later than before. This time also she asked her, why have you wake up too late? The reason this time was also no reason. At this time that Vedehika became very angry, and out of that anger she hit her slave with some stick, making the slave's head to be wounded. So due to this wound, there was blood bleeding all over the servant, and she went out and cried, see the action of this so-called kind lady. Do you see the action of this so-called calm lady? Do you see the action of this so-called gentle lady? So in this way her reputation waned. The reputation of this Vedehika being very kind and gentle faded away in this manner. So this is a story told by the Buddha in the Kakachupama Sutta of the Majjhima Nikaya. So we can see how this anger can bring about the loss or the fading away of one's reputation. So the next thing that would happen to a person who is angry, according to the Kodana Sutta, is that he would lose his relatives and friends. Because due to this anger, that person behaving very badly towards other people, his friends and his relatives are reluctant or hesitate to go near to him, because this person is very easy to get angry, and out of anger he shows this bad behavior towards them. Therefore, one's relatives and friends would stay far away from this person who gets angry very easily, or who would get angry and act out of this anger. So this is another reason shown by the Buddha as that would happen to a person that would be similar to an action or the wish of an enemy towards an enemy that would happen to an angry person, or person who has become anger, that is born in his mind. So in this way the Buddha has shown how the adversities of anger would affect a person. And the last thing that would happen to a person who is angry, according to the Kodana Sutta, is after the breakup of the body, which means after the death, he would be reborn in bad destinations or hell. So the Buddha said this is another wish of an enemy, that an enemy would wish upon his or her own enemy, that may this person be reborn in hell. We can see even today when a person is very angry, they would likely say, go to hell. We can hear people saying these kind of things. So in the same manner, the Buddha said, when a person would think of an enemy, may this person go to hell. normally a person would never think of his or her enemy, may this person go to heaven. So therefore, the Buddha said this result or this aim or this wish of an enemy would happen to a person who is angry due to the anger that has occurred or that has originated in his or her own mind. So we can see these adversities that would happen to a person who is angry. So by this we can see how dangerous or how bad this anger is, and how dangerous and how adverse the result or the outcome of this anger. Moreover, in the Kodana Sutta, the Buddha said further about the result or the adversities of anger or the nature of anger. That is, the Buddha said a person, when he is angry and overcome by anger, he would not know what is good, what is bad, and he would be lack of moral shame or hiri in Pali, moral shame, and otappa in Pali, which is moral dread. These two things has been uttered by the Buddha to be very important factors of human beings. That the Buddha called these two qualities as the qualities that govern the world, because due to this moral shame and moral dread, people are reluctant, people are hesitant, people are afraid, people are ashamed of to do bad things. So when a person has become angry, he would not have these two major qualities that a person should possess. So we can see how dangerous this anger is according to the Buddha's own words. And also the Buddha further stated that he would be very angry and he would do things that he will regret, that he will feel remorse about after his anger has gone. We know when a person is angry, he would say bad things to people, even for their loved ones. And also when a person is angry, he would hit some people, and also he would go into injuring or killing people. But after the anger has gone, for sure that person would regret what he has done. That person would be remorseful about what he has committed. So the Buddha said this in the Kodana Sutta, that when a person after his anger has gone away, he would be remorseful, he would regret his own action. And also Buddha go on to say the adversity of anger in more details. The Buddha said an angry person would go on even to kill his own mother, or kill his own father, or kill a noble being. Noble being here means a person who has attained the levels of fruits or path throughout the enlightenment. A person up higher than the state of stream enterer or sotapatti are called noble beings. So the person would go into kill a noble person out of his anger. Not only that, of course, he would go into killing normal or worldly beings. So here the Buddha stated the danger or the adversity of anger in this manner. He would go into kill his own father, he would go into kill his own mother, would go into kill a noble being, or would go into killing a normal person due to this anger. Moreover, the Buddha has stated not only that, when a person has become angry or when a person is overcome by anger, he would further go into killing his own self. The Buddha has stated in the Kodana Sutta that when a person is angry, he would, even though all of the people hold their own self as being the most enduring or most beloved, because all people love their own selves. But when a person is angry or overcome by anger, he would go into killing his own self by using a sword, or by taking poisons, or by hanging himself by a rope. He would kill himself, the Buddha says in this manner in the Kodana Sutta. So we can see the adverse effects of the anger. And also the Buddha stated or the Buddha recommended ways to get rid of this anger as well. In the Kodana Sutta, also the Buddha stated ways to get rid of this anger. We will be talking about this in the later. And also, there are several suttas in the Sutta Pitaka that we can see where the Buddha instructed or where the Buddha recommended to ways to overcome this anger. Agata Pativinaya Sutta of the Anguttara Nikaya is such a sutta. In the Agata Pativinaya Sutta, the Buddha has recommended 5 ways of subduing hatred. The Buddha has recommended to the monks 5 ways to overcome or get rid of this anger. First, the Buddha said to a person, when he is overcome by anger, he should spread loving kindness. He should make his mind based on loving kindness or metta in order to subdue his hatred. So this is the first way the Buddha instructed for a person to overcome anger, by spreading loving kindness or metta in Pali language. We all know what metta means, or loving kindness, which is the benevolence, which is goodwill, which is wishing happiness, wishing welfare for other people. So the Buddha instructed to his followers, when you have become anger, the first step that you should follow is to spread loving kindness or spread metta or benevolence or goodwill towards the person that he is angry about. Furthermore, he is capable of going into an absorption by developing this metta or loving kindness. So when talking about metta, it is a very integral or very important Dhamma or factor in Buddhism that the Buddha has always instructed or recommended his followers to develop. Metta is, we can translate it as loving kindness, benevolence, goodwill, wishing well for the welfare of the other person. So the best example for the metta, or how to develop metta in one's mind, we can find it in the well-known Karaniya Metta Sutta. In the Karaniya Metta Sutta, we can see how the Buddha instructed or recommended his followers to develop metta or loving kindness. In the sutta it says, Yeke Jipana Bhutatsi Tasava Thavarava Anavasesa Digava Ye Mahantava Majjimava Rasakhanugotula, which means whichever person, whether big, small, or without omitting none, whether long, short, or very small, may all beings be well, may all beings be happy, may all beings experience welfare. So this is how a person should spread loving kindness or metta. Furthermore, in the Karaniya Metta Sutta, the Buddha further says, as a mother would protect her own child, her only child, in the same manner, a person must create his mind towards other people in the same manner as a mother would protect her own child. So this is how the Buddha says a person must develop metta towards other people. Moreover, in many places in the Sutta Pitaka, we can see how the Buddha instructed to spread the loving kindness. The Buddha said, one should spread loving kindness, goodwill towards other people, all beings, without bounds, without limit, to every people in one direction, so as in the second direction, so as in the third direction, so as in the fourth direction. So Buddha said to pervade or to spread or pervade mind of loving kindness toward all beings in a particular direction, all the 4 directions. Not only that, to the above, means the above of the person, all beings that stays above yourself must be included in this intention of loving kindness. Not only that, after that the Buddha instructed to spread loving kindness to the being below you. Every beings that stay below yourself must be included for this intention of loving kindness. And furthermore, Buddha said you have to spread loving kindness around you, all around you, or all across you. So this is how the Buddha instructed to spread the mind of loving kindness to all beings. So this method or this formula of loving kindness can be found in many places in the Sutta Pitaka. So the first way is spreading loving kindness. Moreover, when talk about loving kindness, the Buddha has uttered or stated 11 benefits that a person will get out of spreading loving kindness. First is Sukhang Supati. He would sleep well. He would have a good sleep. And Sukhang Patibucchati. He would wake up well. Not only sleep well, he would wake up well. And he would Papakang Supinang Napasati. He would not see an evil dream, which means he would not see a nightmare or a bad dream. Manussanam Piyohoti. He would be loved by all human beings. And Amanussanam Piyohoti. He would be loved by non-human beings as well, whether they are devas or whether they are other beings that are not human beings. And also Devata Rakkanti, which means the deities or the devas will protect him. And Nasa Agiva Visangma Sattangma Kamati. A fire, a poison and weapon would not harm this person who is full of loving kindness. And also Mukhavanno Vipasidati, which means his facial expressions will be pleasing. His facial color will be pleasing to look at. So as we discussed earlier, when a person is angry, the Buddha said he would become ugly. He would have a scary or very bad looking appearance. So here the Buddha said when a person has developed loving kindness, his face would be good to look at. He will be good looking. He will be beautiful, the Buddha says in the Mettanisansa Sutta in the Anguttara Nikaya. And moreover, Asammulho Kalankaroti. When a person dies, we can see some people, they scream in afraid. They would scream in scare about they don't want to die or they will lose their consciousness. But Buddha said when a person has developed loving kindness, he would die or he would pass away peacefully. Asammullo Kalankaroti. And lastly, the 11th benefit that he will get out of development of loving kindness is Uttaring Appati Vichanto Brahmalokupago Hote, which means if he has not attained a higher state of liberation, he would be reborn in Brahma world. So these are the 11 benefits as stated by the Buddha that a person who develops loving kindness will gain. So we can see out of all these 11 benefits, 10 of them are things that a person would experience in this life. So we can see the teaching of the Buddha or the Buddhism is not only for next life, not only for after death, but many teaching of the Buddha we can see, as we have seen now, the Buddha taught how to live this life peacefully, how to live this life beneficially, how to make the best out of this life. So we can see how practical the teaching of the Buddha is. So this is the first way the Buddha advised to subdue hatred. This is the first method the Buddha advised his followers to apply in order to get rid of hatred that would arise in their minds, that would arise in our minds. The second way is by spreading compassion, or the Pali word is karuna, which goes together with metta. But karuna is compassion or sympathetic sympathy towards a person who are in suffering. So the difference between metta and karuna is metta is wishing well, wishing all beings to be well and happy. The karuna is wishing all beings to get rid of suffering, to be out of suffering, to wishing a person who is who is suffering to be free from suffering. So this is the thought of karuna or compassion. So the Buddha said, spread metta as a way to get rid of anger, and also spread karuna or compassion to get rid of anger. So karuna is also advised to develop in the same manner as metta, by spreading, by pervading the mind of compassion towards all beings without a limit, without a boundary, to all four directions, and also to the above of yourself, beings that reside above yourself, and also the being that reside or live below yourself, and also all around you or all across you, without exception. This is the formula, or this is the way the Buddha advised to develop this mind of loving kindness, and here the mind of compassion. So this is the second way the Buddha advised in the Agata Pativinaya Sutta, or it is said Pathama Agata Pativinaya Sutta, by which the Buddha advised his followers to subdue hatred. The third way, or the third method that the Buddha recommended to apply in order to get rid of anger is by developing equanimity or upekha. Upekha or equanimity is, another term is tatra majjattata, which means having an equal mind in all calamities, or in all ways, having a equal state of mind, whether you are experiencing happiness or whether you are experiencing suffering, whether you are gaining profit, whether you are losing things, whether you are getting praises or whether you are getting abusive talks, whether you are experiencing happiness or whether you are experiencing suffering, you have to be an equal minded. You have to be in a mind that is unaffected by all these vicissitudes or all these changes that happen in our lives. Whether you are experiencing happiness or whether you are experiencing pain, you have to have a calm and mind that is unaffected by all these things that come into you. In this case, when you have reasons to be angry, you should remain calm. You should remain indifferent to those reasons that would normally make you or normally make a person become angry. For example, if you are scolded, if you are being told things that would make you angry, you should not let those things make you angry. Or when you are feeling things or experiencing things that would normally make you angry, you have to tolerate those things and to have a mind, equal mind, or the state of equilibrium that would not be affected by all those things that would happen to you. Especially the Buddha said this Attaloka Dhamma, the worldly conditions, the 8 worldly conditions that every person has to face. Example, gaining, labho, alabho, gaining and losing, yasa, ayasa, fame and defaming, ninda, pasangsa, praise or blame, and sukhancha, dukkhang, happiness or suffering. In all these vicissitudes, all these conditions that will come to you, you have to have an equal mind. This is the meaning of the term upekha. So in this case, it is tolerating these things that would normally make a person angry. So this is the third way how you should behave, or how the thing that would do when you are angry, when you want to control anger or when you want to get rid of anger. So what is the fourth way that you are advised by the Buddha in the Pathama Agata Pativinaya Sutta to do when you are angry? That is, the Buddha say asati amanasikaro, means not to think about it, not to get into consideration. So Buddha said when something happened that would normally make you angry, you should not think about it. You should try to forget it. You should not consider about it. You should get rid of that thought or that thing that is bothering your mind. So the Buddha advised, the fourth way, the Buddha advised to get rid of anger is asati amanasikaro, is forgetting and not considering. So this is the fourth way the Buddha advised to get rid of anger, by not thinking about what would make you angry. Whatever that happened to you, or whoever did something that normally would make you angry, or whatever words somebody had said that would make you angry, or whatever difficulties you are experiencing that would make you angry, you have to forget those things. You have to, however, forget those things, and who have to, however, not consider those things. So this is the fourth way the Buddha advised to apply or to practice in order to get rid of anger, or in order to manage the anger or the control anger. So what is the fifth way the Buddha advised in the Pathama Agata Pativinaya Sutta? The fifth way the Buddha advised to do in the Pathama Agata Pativinaya Sutta is in order to get rid of anger, is by applying the nature of a person's or all beings being the owner or the heir to his own karma. So the Buddha advised as the fifth way in the Agata Pativinaya Sutta for subduing hatred, as applying the ownership of karma or kammasakata, thinking that this person who has done something bad or who has done something that would irritate you is heir to his own karma. He is the owner of his own karma. Whatever good or whatever bad that he would do, he will experience the result of this own karma by himself. Therefore, there is nothing for you to go and involve in his bad karma. The Buddha advised in this way: if somebody has done something bad to you, that is his bad karma, or that he will experience the result of this bad karma or this evil deed by himself. So therefore, Buddha advised you to think in this manner, that he who had done bad thing to you would experience the result of that karma by himself. Therefore, you should not get involved in this cycle of karma. You should not create more bad karma to yourself. Just let the karma decide. So I think this is a very practical way that you can apply when you are angry, or when somebody has done something to make you angry. This is a very practical way that you can apply or that you can practice. Because when a person is angry, a normal person, an ordinary person like us, we are not really able to spread loving kindness because we are very angry, or you have not that peace of mind to spread karuna or compassion, or you are not in that stable state of mind to be equal or have equanimity towards these things, or you are not able or you are not capable of forgetting or not considering this matter. But this way is, the fifth way is very practical way that you can apply when you are angry, or when somebody has done something to make you angry. That is, thinking this person who has done something bad to you, he will get the bad karma, the result of this bad karma by himself. So let the karma decide. Let he get what he has done by himself. So you don't have to do anything to him. So this seems to be a very practical way that we can apply in our daily life when we have encountered incidents or people that would normally make you angry. So these are the 5 ways that Buddha advised to apply in order to subdue hatred when somebody has done something to make you angry. So this is the teaching of the Buddha we can find in the Pathama Agata Pativinaya Sutta, or the first sutta for subduing hatred. So we have seen how the Buddha described or illustrated the nature and the effect or the adversity of anger, and also how the Buddha what are the steps the Buddha has recommended in order to overcome or in order to control this anger. So those 5 steps has been explained accordingly. And there are so many suttas or so many information that we can find in the Sutta Pitaka regarding this matter. And of course, the anger is one of the 3 unwholesome roots that unwholesome things or the evil deeds happen or done by a person based on these 3 unwholesome roots. As I mentioned earlier, a person is required or a person is expected by the Buddha to get rid of or to discard angry feelings or ill will or hatred, whatever that is associated with this anger, as soon as that occurs in your mind. It is not a healthy or it is not a normal, according to Buddhism, to get angry and be in the anger. It is something, even though it is a normal behavior of human beings, you are required or you are expected in Buddhism or by the Buddha to get rid of this anger or get rid of these feelings of angry or get rid of any feeling that is associated with anger as soon as that occurs or that originates in your mind. So I think it's suitable for our time. We have our Dhamma talk today. So at the end of this Dhamma talk, I would like to again thank Madam Samsuk and Madam Abhinya in Thailand, who have invited me to give this Dhamma talk or give this talk about the teaching of the Buddha. And also I would like to thank all the members of Global Buddhist Congregation, especially Dr. Harsha Deep and Mrs. Rochana Campbell for taking these steps for leading these meritorious or very valuable deeds for the propagation of Dhamma. I have seen so many Dhamma talks given by so many profound or so many venerables that who have deep knowledge in Buddhism, who has given so much valuable advice for the people how to live life according to teaching of the Buddha, and also who has given Dhamma talks regarding the doctrine of the Buddhism or philosophical aspect of Buddhism. So all these are available for the people to listen to learn, to understand freely worldwide. So this is a very good campaign or very good project that is being carried out by Global Buddhist Congregation. So I would like to bless everyone who has spent their time to listen to this Dhamma talk and who has followed throughout this Dhamma talk and gain something from this, and I hope they will apply this teaching into their lives and make their life a more meaningful or more valuable life that you have been given. Because as the Buddha said, it is very hard or it's very rare to be born as a human being, and also it is very hard or very rare to find or meet this teaching of the Buddha. Not all human beings can listen to this important or valuable teaching of the Buddha. So now you have both things, that you have been born as a human being and also you have found the Buddhism. So I hope you will apply this teaching of the Buddha, and with the blessings of this listening to the Dhamma talk, I wish all of you good health and happiness and development in the Buddhism and in your life, and also finally may all beings attain Nirvana. Sadhu.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you very much, Venerable Dr. Phramaha Metteyya, for giving such a detailed, profound teachings of the Buddha. Actually, this is a subject after my own heart that we have to practice, particularly when you mention Hiri-ottappa, which I think nowadays we probably have that realization less and less. So, Venerable, thank you very much for not only giving us the teaching of the Buddha, also showing us around this beautiful Pathomchedi monastery We hope to have a chance to come back to Nakorn Pathom province again. And I invite all the viewers at home to visit Nakorn Pathom province, which have this great pagoda, Pathomchedi. Whenever you come to Bangkok or come from other countries, you must visit this place. Thank you very much, Venerable. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
May all beings be well and happy and free from suffering. Sadhu.
Sadhu, sadhu, anumodana. Sadhu.